Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus, Chapter 7. This is Chapter 7's Exercise B, Parsing Latin into English. As a quick, very brief review, parsing is the exercise or act of giving the parts of each word in a sentence. We are almost like we're sentence diagramming, dissecting each word as we come across them. So start at the left, then read each word one word at a time, parsing each word as one encounters them. By parsing, we give the parts, and therefore we learn how to read. So when we are parsing a Latin noun, we are to give the dictionary entry, the case in the sentence, the number in the sentence, the reason derived from the noun's case. When parsing a Latin verb, we are to give the dictionary entry, the person, the number, and the tense in sentence. Now for adverbs, they really only have one form. So we're just going to identify what form they are and then translate them. So una, sententia prima, sententia prima. Multi agricolae in agris bene laborabant heri. Crasne portabunt frumentum ex agris ad villas. All right, starting with the left, first word. Multi, from multus aum, much, plural, many. This multi-I form, that could be the genitive singular, masculine or neuter, or it could be the nominative plural masculine. Let's wait for a noun. Agricola, I, masculine, farmer. So this form agricola could be the genitive singular showing possession, the dative singular showing the indirect object or possession, or the nominative plural, subject or the predicate nominative. Well, multi agricolae, they could go together if nominative plural masculine. So we'll keep those options open. They could also be genitive singular, so of much farmer. But that sounds odd. Many farmers sounds better. So we'll keep that option open. In plus the accusative will show motion towards, but in plus the ablative will show location. So check out the next word, agris, from ager, agri, masculine, field or farmland. Well, this could be dative plural masculine, or more likely, because we just had that in, this is going to be the ablative. In plus the ablative showing location, so in the fields. Bene. Bene is the adverb form of bonus aum, whereas bonus aum is good, bene is well, and it's an adverb. So it's going to modify either a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Well, we've got noun, preposition, noun, and adjective. Well, many, it's kind of weird. So let's wait. Let's see what we have next. Laborabant. Hey, that screams out verb. Laboro, laborare, laboravi, laboratus, to work. So it's third plural, and it's imperfect tense. So they were working. They used to work. Imperfect tense happens in the past. It's an incompleted action in the past. They were doing this for a long period of time, over and over again. Now, bene, the adverb, adverbs modify verbs. We've got the verb right here, laborabant. How did they work? How were they working? They worked bene, well. They were working well. And then heri, that's an adverb meaning yesterday. Not today, hodie, not tomorrow, kras, but heri, yesterday, like that Beatles song. Adverbs modify verbs, so they tell when actions can happen. They can also tell where and why and how. Yesterday is a when, it's temporal, so it's describing when the action occurred. The action was occurring yesterday, and it was pretty good. It's happened well, went well. Multi agricolae in agris bene laborabant heri, semicolon. So let's make a decision about multi agricolae, probably nominative plural masculine the subject. Many farmers in the fields were working well yesterday. Many farmers were working well in the fields yesterday. After the semicolon, we have crasne portabunt frumentum ex agris ad villas. So we have crasne. That looks kind of weird. Crasne? It's actually just cras, the adverb meaning tomorrow. Not yesterday, but tomorrow. And then ne. the enclitic ne, which is added to the first word to indicate that we're asking a question. This has now become an interrogative, a question. We're asking a question here. So something's going to happen tomorrow. Now, if something happens tomorrow, that means that the verb should be future. Just as if something happened yesterday, the verb should be a past tense verb, and it is imperfect. So hopefully, whatever verb we come across, if it will happen tomorrow, it should be future. And we're asking a question about it. So it should be a will verb tomorrow. Portabunt, from porto, portare, portavi, portatus. I should have known. Sneaky porto. To carry. It's third and plural and future. Hey, anticipatory parsing works. Will they carry tomorrow? Tomorrow, will they carry? What do you think they're going to carry? Fermentum e neuter grain. Nominative singular, either the subject or predicate nominative, if it's nominative, but because it's neuter, it could also be the accusative case. Accusative singular, and the reason for accusative, direct object. Could also be motion towards, but there's no preposition in front of it, so we're going to go with the direct object. Also, it makes sense that maybe that they might be carrying some grain tomorrow. Direct object of the verb, they will carry grain tomorrow. Will they carry the grain tomorrow? Ex agris, ex plus the ablative indicates separation, movement out of, away from, out of, ex. Ager, agri, masculine, it's our old friend, field, farmland. Now, could be dated plural, like before, but we just had a preposition in front of it which takes the ablative, always, every time. So ex plus the ablative indicates separation out of the plural fields, out of the fields. Now, odd, we move down here. Odd takes the accusative case to show motion towards. We're moving towards this noun, villas, from villa, feminine, farmhouse. Accusative plural, that's the os ending, because we had that preposition odd, takes accusative motion towards. And then, look at this. It's a question mark. Wow, the Romans are wondering what that is. They have the ne, and the question mark. Will they carry grain from the fields to the farmhouses tomorrow? All right, so all together. Many farmers were working well in the fields yesterday. Will they carry the grain from the fields to the farmhouses tomorrow? Optime, very well done. If you could do that, you're doing great. Secunda, sententia secunda. Nonne longi sunt gladi nostrorum amicorum. So nonne, it's just non and the enclitic ne indicating a question, an interrogative. So something not. Verb is sunt, are they not, or something not longi. So longi, from longosaum, long, like longitude, indicating length. We also say like long time. We have long in the sense of they fought long. We also use long in the sense of temporally, time. The Romans have a different word for that. That's the adverb diu, D-I-U, diu. Do not confuse diu and longus. Diu is temporal, for a long time. Like they fought long. They fought for a long time. Longus that always indicates distance, physical spatial distance. So, nonne longi. We have longi from longus long. This can be several things. It could be the genitive singular masculine or neuter, or it could be the nominative plural masculine. It's an adjective, so something's going to be long. Are, they are. The third person plural of sum esse fui futurus, present tense. So that's an irregular verb. Let's go ahead and pause right here and go through the forms of sum that we know. We know the present, we know the imperfect, and we know the future. So the present is sum es est, sumus estis sunt. The imperfect is eram eras erat, eramus eratis erant. And the future is ero eris erit, erimus eritis erunt, with a U-N-T, erunt. So this is the present tense, and it's a linking verb. We're linking this, hey, what if this adjective is a predicate nominative? Linking with a gladii, a subject. So gladius, e, masculine, sword, the famous Roman short sword that they stole from the Spanish. So gladii, nominative, plural, masculine, swords. It could be genitive singular. The genitive singular typically in some texts has a single I, but you also see it with the double I. Sometimes in the same text you see both spellings. So gladii, it could be genitive singular masculine, possession. It's more likely going to be nominative plural masculine, the subject, because we have a linking verb here. We need a subject. We have an adjective that pretty much looks like it goes to this. This is the predicate. We have an equal sign here as the linking verb. This is going to be the subject. Long are the swords. The swords are long. Are not the swords long? Are not long the sword? Yes, not long are the swords. Nostrorum amicorum. Genitive, plural, masculine of noster, nostra, nostrum, our, belonging to us. And then amicus e, masculine, friend, of our friends, genitive, plural. They are the swords of our friends are long. The swords of our friends are long. That would be the declarative sentence. Here we have an interrogative because of the ne. It makes it a question with a question mark. Are not the swords of our friends long? Are not long the swords of our friends? Optime. Tertia, sententia tertia. Sacrane erant regna deorum dearumque. All right, fun fact, this sentence has two enclitics. So sacrane, it's sacra and then ne, the enclitic ne. If it helps, go ahead and draw a line between the a and the n so that you can clearly see the ne. There's the question mark. So we're asking a question. This is an interrogative. If it helps you, go ahead and start by ignore it as an interrogative. Just translate it as a regular old declarative. And then, after you're done, before you write anything in the blank down here, make sure you translate that declarative into an interrogative. Make it a question. So we're asking a yes or no question. Sacra, from sacer, sacra, sacrum, holy, sacred. Could be several things. It could be nominative, singular, feminine. It could be nominative or accusative, plural, neuter. There's no macron over the a here, so I'm going to disregard the ablative. Errant, third plural, imperfect, form of sum, so it's irregular. Remember, the imperfect of sum is eram, eras, erat. Eramus, eratus, erant. So past tense, they were. Something were sacred. Were something sacred? Regna, regna, that answers that. Regnum e neuter, kingdom, kingship, crown, throne. We're going to say kingdom, ruled by a rex. So regnum e neuter, this could be the nominative or accusative plural neuter. It's either the subject or the accusative direct object. But wait a minute. We remember that if we have a linking verb sum, we cannot have an accusative direct object. It doesn't work like that because the nominative subject works with a linking verb sum and a predicate nominative. Nominative, predicate nominative, this adjective sacra. So the kingdoms were sacred. It's a question. Were the kingdoms sacred? To be answered by a yes or no. Were the kingdoms sacred? And the kingdoms deorum dearumque. Deorum, genitive plural masculine of deus e masculine, and dearum, genitive plural feminine of dea, dei feminine. Remember that the dative and ablative plural of this word is irregular. Deabus, deabus. And then the enclitic que, meaning and. The enclitic que, and, is translated before the word to which it is attached. So it's equivalent to deorum et dearum. We often see gods and goddesses together so much that instead of saying gods and goddesses, we often say gods and goddesses with an That's often what que is. Implies a close connection between these two things, between x and y. Close connection. So close that we just want to put the nouns right together without any connection at all, but we'll just tack one on at the end just to make sure. So, sacrane era regna deorum dearumque. Were the kingdoms of the gods and goddesses sacred? Were sacred the kingdoms of the gods and goddesses? Sure, why not? Optime. Quarta, sententia quarta. Liberosne ex agricolarum agris vocabimus in villas nostras. So liberosne. All right, we got the line right here. Identify the ne. There's the question mark at the end. So we have an interrogative here. Liberos. Well, this is the accusative plural masculine of the adjective liber, libera, liberum, but remember that we derive the substantive noun liberiorum masculine plural from the adjective to get children, little free people. So it's probably children here. It could be free men. We don't know. We'll figure it out. Context will be key. And if there's no context, we can put either answer. Ax takes the ablative to show separation, movement, out of, away from. It's a preposition. Agricolarum, rutro-raggy. Well, it's not the ablative we were hoping for. Agricolarum, it's genitive plural masculine of agricolae, masculine farmer, plural farmers, of the farmers. So maybe this genitive is possessing the noun agris, which is either dative or ablative. We need the ablative here, plural masculine. We need the ablative because of separation, ax, out of the fields of the farmers, with the possessing modifying genitive nestled snugly in between the preposition and its noun. So free men or children in the accusative, so they're the operative emphatic word. Is it the freemen? Is it the children out of the fields of the farmers? Vocabimus. Vocabimus. Mus, first person plural. Be is the tense marker for the future tense, the ending bimus. So bo, bis, bit. Bimus, bitis, bunt. First person plural, future, of voca, vocare, vocavi, vocatus, to call. So we will call, but it is an interrogative. So we'll probably say, will we call? Will we call the children? Will we call the freemen? Is it the children we will call out of the fields of the farmers? In villas nostras, we're going to go ahead and go with children. So we're calling children out of the fields of the farmers in villas nostras. If you put freemen here, that's fine too. In plus the accusative, that shows motion towards. If it were the ablative, it would be location, but here it's motion towards, movement into the villae feminine farmhouse. Accusative plural feminine, there's more than one, into the farmhouses, and then nostras, from noster, nostra, nostrum, our, belonging to us. So accusative plural feminine, nostras, nostras villas, villas nostras, so our farmhouses. We are going into, accusative motion towards, into our farmhouses. So we are calling, we are the subject, calling the accusative direct object, liberos, them kids, into the out of the fields of the farmers and into our farmhouses. Now make that an interrogative, a question expecting a yes or no answer. Will we call the children out of the fields of the farmers and into our farmhouses? Will we call the children out of the farmers' fields into our farmhouses? Is it the children we will call out of the farmers' fields into our farmhouses? Optime, well done. Quinta, sententia quinta. Num eras ibi heri? Num eras ibi heri. Num, all right, here's num. Num is the opposite of nonne. If nonne is trying to influence the answer to be yes, num is trying to influence the answer to be no. There should be a no or a not in our English answer, but notice there is no known in the Latin. So keep that in mind. Num. If this really confuses you, as I've had lots of students in the past be confused by this, go ahead and disregard the num, translate as if it were a declarative, a not question, a normal sentence, And then once you have the quote-unquote normal sentence, the declarative, then turn it back into an interrogative, expecting a no answer. So eras, you were, eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratis, erant, you were, the imperfect second person singular of sum. Ibi is an adverb. It's describing where you were. Where were you? There. In that place. There. You were there. Heri. Heri is an adverb. That Beatles song Yesterday, where all your troubles seem so far away. So heri, adverb, modifies the verb. Eras. So describing when the action occurred. When were you there in that place? Yesterday, heri. So you were there yesterday. Now, rephrase that declarative sentence as an interrogative and make it so that you want a no answer. You weren't in that place yesterday, were you? You weren't there yesterday, were you? You were not there yesterday, were you? Notice how there's a not in our answer. You were not in that place yesterday, were you? There's a not over here, but there is not a known in the Latin. The known is contained inside the nom. You weren't there yesterday, were you? No, of course not. Why would I have been? Sexta, sententia sexta. Nonne avia iam ambulabis? Nonne avia iam ambulabis? So nonne, opposite of nom, this is expecting a yes answer. It's got a known right there. So it's future, so will you not? Will you not do something? Known. The preposition meaning from or away from. We're moving away from something in the ablative case. Via I feminine, road, street, or way. It's in the ablative. You can tell by the macron via. So we're going from the road, from the street. Yam. Yam is an adverb meaning now. It can also mean soon. It can also mean already. Basically, it emphasizes the time at which the verb took place. So in the present tense, it means now. If it's paired with a past tense verb, it usually means already, or now in the vantage point of the past. Like, Caesar was now ready to conquer Gaul. It's a past tense, he was ready, but at that time that he was ready, it was now, it was then. Caesar was then ready to conquer Gaul would be another translation. So yam can be translated as then. In the future, he will be now ready to do this, meaning in the time of the future, it will be now at that time ready. So sometimes it can mean soon. He will soon be ready. Yam can be translated in a wide variety of ways. It's different from nunc in that nunc means now in the time of the present. Nunc only works with the present tense. Yam can work with any tense, and it means now at that time of whatever tense it is, either past, present, or future. So here we have a future verb, second person singular, future of ambulo, ambulare, ambulavi, ambulatus. The endings are bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt. We have bis, second person singular, future. So you will walk. Question, will you not walk? Won't you walk? Remember that won't is a contraction of will not. Won't you now walk from the road? Won't you soon walk from the road? Won't you walk from the road then? With yam meaning that at the time of the future, won't you then at that time do that? None, expecting a yes answer. Won't you do this? Yeah, guess I will. Thanks. Septima, sententia septima. Quam diu contra inimicos nostros magna cum audacia pugnabatis. Quam diu, quam, adverb how. We're asking how.
To what degree? How? And it's paired with the adverb, because adverbs can modify adverbs. Du. Du is an adverb. It means for a long time, or just long. Ne fought long, then, meaning for a long time. Du is always temporal, as opposed to the adjective longus which is always spatial, having to do with distance. So the adverb du here is going to be modifying the, wait for it, the verb, and the verb is at the end. So quam is an adverb meaning how. We're asking how something is, modifying this adverb. How long? For how long? Contra, preposition taking the accusative case, against. Inimicos being an adjective, inimicos aon. It can also be a substantive noun. It's accusative, it's plural, it's masculine. It means hostile, unfriendly. You're not amicus, you're not friend, unfriendly, a not friend. Nosros, well, it's got an adjective here, so this is going to be the substantive. So this is going to be the adjective agreeing with this, because it's also accusative plural masculine of noster, nostra, nostrum, our, belonging to us. So against, because contra takes the accusative, against our enemies, against our rivals, our not friends. Magna cum audacia, so magna, that's got to be ablative, singular feminine of magnus aum. So it means great, magnus aum, great, large, big, in size or importance. Hold off until we get a noun. Cum, preposition cum means with. Can be used with the ablative of accompaniment or the ablative of manner, which we just learned this chapter. I wonder if we have the word order adjective cum and then abstract noun like audacia, I feminine. Boldness, daring, audacity. Ablative, singular feminine, with the preposition cum, with a modifying adjective. My goodness, we could have gotten rid of this cum, omitted it entirely, and just said magna audacia. But cum is fine because we have an ablative of manner, with great boldness, which roughly corresponds to the adjective quite boldly, or very boldly. This is a prepositional phrase in English and also in Latin, but it sort of works adverbially, somewhat describing the verb, pugnabatis. So pugnabatis, second person plural, imperfect, of pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, pugnatus. The endings being bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, bat. So second plural, ye. Ye were fighting. Ye were fighting. Ye used to fight. And so we have a question. How? How were you fighting? How quam diu? Oh, for how long were you fighting? For how long were you fighting against our enemies, magna cum audacia, with great boldness? How long were you fighting with great boldness against our enemies? This is quam diu, adverb, modifying this adverb here. Magna cum audacia, ablative of manner. Ablative of manner. Roughly corresponds to saying something like, for how long were you fighting against our enemies very boldly? Octava, sententia octava. Ubi sunt Agricolae? Ubi sunt Agricolae? All right, this one seems pretty short, probably pretty easy, hopefully. Let's check it out. Let's not let our guards down. Ubi, where? Interrogative adverb, where? I know it's an interrogative because it's got a question mark. Thanks, English editor. Ubi, where? Sunt. This is the third plural. Sum, esse, fui, futurus. They were. Something, or they are, present tense. Something are. Something exists right now in the plural. Agricolae. Well, it could be genitive, it could be dative, but it probably is the nominative plural masculine of agricola, I, masculine, farmer. So we have farmers. This is going to be the subject. The farmers are where? Where are the farmers? Where are the farmers? If you write down the sentence, where are the farmers? And I ask you, what's the subject? You better say farmers. Don't you dare say where. Where is an interrogative adverb. We're looking for a noun that is the subject, and that would be farmers. Remember, if you're confused about what the subject is, go to the verb, sunt. Ask yourself, what are, or where are? What is the subject of this verb sunt, third plural? It's not ubi. Ubi doesn't have case, doesn't have number, it's an adverb. So what's the third plural thing that sunt are? It's the agricolae, it's the farmers. Farmers is the subject.
Nona, sententia nona. Narrabunt ne late longeque poetae multa de terris Asiae? So narrabunt ne. We have narrabunt with a ne, so we have an interrogative. There's the question mark. Narrabunt is third person plural, future tense of narro, narrare, narravi, narratus, to tell. So bo bis bit, bimus bitis bunt, they will tell. Who will they tell? I don't know, yes or no, they will. Will they tell? Late longeque. We have the adverb late from latus aum, the adjective wide or broad, with the adverb ending e, late, it becomes widely or broadly. Longe, with the enclitic que. Remember, the enclitic is translated before the word to which it is attached, standing in for late et longe. So longe is the adverb form of longus aum, long, as in spatially long, distance-wise. So we, in English, often say far and wide. We could say far off and widely. Far and wide. And you're going to say, but far and wide sound like adjectives. And say, I know, but we're using them as adverbs here. So they will tell far and wide. How will they tell this? Far off and widely. That is the way, how they will do this action. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Poetae. This is either genitive or dative singular, or nominative plural masculine of poetae masculine. So of the poet, to or for the poet, or the poets. Multa, multus aum. Well, multa could be nominative singular feminine, or it could be nominative or accusative plural neuter. I don't know, much plural many? Let's see, it's just an adjective kind of hanging out there. Probably is a substantive, but let's find out. De, preposition de, meaning down from, or it can mean about or concerning. So it takes the ablative, terra I feminine, earth or land. This is either the dative, but probably more likely the ablative with the preposition de. Ablative plural of terra I feminine, lands. So the lands, about the lands. Asiae. This is probably the genitive, could be the dative. It's probably the genitive possession of the noun terris. So concerning the lands of Asia, concerning Asia's lands, probably is concerning the lands of Asia. So genitive, singular, feminine of Asiae feminine. What's our subject? The they. The poets, nominative plural poets. So will the poets tell far and wide many things? This is going to be the accusative plural neuter direct object of the verb narrabunt. Many things is a substantive. You can imply things from this neuter ending, plural neuter things. De terris Asiae, many things, or we could say in English, much about the lands of Asia. Will the poets tell far and wide much about the lands of Asia? Will the poets tell many things about the lands of Asia far and wide, far off and widely? Optime, et demum decima, sententia decima. Nonne multa ibi errant donna Dei, nonne multa ibi errant donna Dei. So nonne, interrogative particle, expecting a yes answer. It's a compound of non and ne. Ne, interrogative, you can see the question mark there. So is something not? Were something not. Will something not. Multa. Multa could be several things. It could be nominative singular feminine, or it could be the nominative or accusative plural neuter of multus much plural many. Hang on, let's see what it is. Ibi, adverb ibi, it's its only form, meaning there, in that place. Where? There. So it's an adverb, describing the verb. It shows where this thing was. Errant, happening. So errant, third plural, imperfect of sum, esse, fui, futurus. Eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant. So something were. Something were there. Were something there? Were many things there? Ooh, were many things there? Dona. Hey, here's our noun. So donum, neuter, gift, dona. Either the nominative or accusative plural neuter, the subject or the accusative. Well, we just had that linking verb, right? Erat, so we can't have an accusative. These have got to be the nominative. So multa is going to be the predicate nominative. It's the adjective giving more information about the subject being dona, gifts. Were there not many gifts, dei, either the dative or genitive singular of dei, feminine. It could be the nominative plural, but that would be something like the goddesses were, and then what were the goddesses? There's no corresponding predicate nominative. The goddesses were gifts? The goddesses were many gifts there? No, that's very weird. And also, yeah, this would have to be nominative. It can't be accusative because we have that linking verb. So that'd be all kinds of messed up if the gifts were not the subject. Thank goodness it is. So dei, it's either gifts of the goddess. Were there not many gifts of the goddess there? But it's more likely, were there not many gifts for the goddess there in that place? With dei being the dative, singular, feminine, being an indirect object. Were there not many gifts for them? Actually, more correctly, instead of indirect object, possession. Did the goddess not have many gifts there? Were there not many gifts for the goddess there? For her, possession, she owns them. So dei, dative, singular, feminine, dative of possession. Optime, very well done, all 10 sentences. You are now ready to move on to Chapter 7's Exercise C, which is parsing from English and turning it into Latin. Optime, valete omnes.